This is episode 9 of our brooder series, meaning that our birds are now 9 days old. In this video series, we share with you our daily activities and practices as we brood 500 local birds from day 1 up to day 30. And we highly believe that the information that we share in these videos is very key for one to have a successful brooding. And brooding day-old chicks is not something very difficult as some people think. You only need to consider the 4 basic needs for brooding like we have always shared in this series, and allow us to repeat and mention them once again so that you get reminded of what you require to brood the old chicks. The number 1 basic need for brooding is providing suitable feeds to the birds. And in this specific video, we are going to discuss in details how this factor can be affected. But then before we continue with the feeding factor, allow us to remind you that the other basic needs for brooding include providing clean water for the birds to drink. The third one is making sure that the brooder is at the right temperature. Here we always consider introducing in brooding pots in which we put charcoal that keeps burning, probably at night and day when the weather is not good. And lastly, we consider lighting, as your birds have to see the feeds and drinking water both during day and at night. Therefore, even at night, consider putting artificial bulbs or artificial lights for the birds to be able to see the feeds and take the feeds and the drinking water all day. And like we've said in this specific video, let's discuss some more details about the feeding. One thing that we must remind you about the feeding is your birds should be given suitable feeds. And here, for example, on our farm, we choose to give our birds broiler starter. We consider giving them these feeds for the first 3 weeks for your birds not to experience stunted growth. With suitable feeds selected for the birds, then we must consider these practices also. We always monitor the state of the feeds so that the birds don't take their droppings. And so, whenever we find the droppings of the birds in the feeds, we always try to remove them so that the birds only feed on the feeds, not the droppings. One other thing that will remind you about the feeding is your birds should feed day and night. That is the importance of the lighting. Therefore, make sure that there is enough light in the brooder for the birds to see the feeds during day and at night. And during day, we always consider opening the windows so that we have natural light coming through the window to the brooder. And then during night, we consider using artificial lights. And we believe that if you consider those few aspects of how we provide the feeds to the birds, then you can have a successful brooding if the other factors are also in place. That is it for episode 9, and see you in the next episode, which will be episode 10. For one not to miss part of this series, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you are always among the first to know when we upload a new video. If you have loved this piece of content, like it, share it with a friend, and also comment so that we know your views about brooding, especially the local birds.